This is Dr. McDonald, and this is the video for the Excel Chapter 3 in-class assignment named Movies. So to get the materials, go to Blackboard and simply go to Excel in-class assignment and download the Excel Chapter 3. So when you click on that, it'll bring you Pearson, and then when you get to the Pearson one, just download the materials. Okay, and then when we're done, you can submit it through upload file. Okay, so it's approximately, let's see, 22 steps, I believe. Yeah, so it's about 20 after we start and end it. Basically, for this project, you're an assignment manager at a Premier Movie Source. An online company enables customers to stream movies for a fee. So you need to track movie downloads and the sales by genre. You gather the data for April 2027 and organize it in an Excel workbook. And then you're ready to create your charts to help represent the data so that you can make a presentation to your managers, so that they're just not looking at numbers, they have a good visual to look at as well. So the file that we're working with looks like this. So I'm going to save it. Then we're going to look at the instructions, and basically, let's see, we're going to start off step 2 with a pie chart to show the percentage of each category and how it contributes to the monthly movie downloads. So we're going to select A5 to A10 and F5 to F10 and create a pie chart and move it to a chart sheet named April Pie Chart. Alright, so we're going to select what? A5 to A10. So A5 to A10 like that. And then remember to hold the control key, and we're going to select F5 to F10. Like that. And then we're going to go to Insert and our pie chart, which is here. And you got the 2D, 3D, donut. For these exercises, we usually just do the 2D pie like this. This is a pie of pie and a bar of pie. The 2D and the 3D are similar. 3D just looks a little bit nicer with the 3D, but I'm going to stick with the 2D. So I'm going to click on this one. And then we said move it to a chart sheet named April Pie Chart. So up here, when you have a chart, you have 2 new tabs, Chart Design and Format. When I click off my chart, those tabs go away. When I click in my chart again, they come back. You also have the little circles here where you can help resize your chart. It's also showing that the chart is selected. So once your chart's selected, we're going to go to Format. Actually, I'm lying. We're going to go to Chart Design, and we're going to click on Move Chart. So Chart Design, Move Chart. We're going to do a new sheet. Basically, Object in Sheet, you can see here, it would list all the sheets that we have. So currently we just have one sheet, and it would just place it on the sheet. You can't select where you're going to place it, but we want a new sheet, and we're going to call our new sheet Apple Pie, April Pie Chart. Why do I keep saying Apple? So April Pie and Chart. Okay? So new sheet, April Pie Chart, hit OK. And you can see now it opens a new sheet down here, and then you still have the original data sheet. All right. So step 3, basically the pie chart needs a descriptive title. So we're going to change the chart title to April 2027 streaming by genre. So April 2027 streaming by genre. Then we're going to bold it, do an 18-point font, and do a black text 1 font color. So all right, so we're going up to chart title. When we do that, when we start typing, you're going to see it up here. So April, so I'm typing and you can see it come up here. 2027 streaming by genre. There we go. And when I hit enter, it pops in here. And you could also click in here, but usually if you do that from the beginning, you have to take out where it says chart title. So I think it's just easier to click and start typing. So if you made a mistake in your spelling, you can just click in here and edit it. Or you can click up here. So it's up to you. All right, so as long as the title is selected, let's see. There we go. My computer's acting weird. Okay. So we want to select the title, and then we want to finish that step. So we're going to do bold. So I'm going to go to Home, Bold, 18-point font size. So I'm going to go to here and change it to 18. And then we're going to go black text 1. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to select this first on the theme colors, and the second one. So just make sure you click on that, and we're good. All right, so the next step, we're going to percentage and category data labels will provide identification information for the pie chart. So we're going to add data labels in the inside end position. Select the category name and percentage labels to show. We're going to remove the value data labels and the legend, and we're going to do a 14-point font size, bold, black text 1, font color to the data labels. All right, so lots to do here. So let's go back to our pie chart. Right. So anything with titles, usually labels, there's two ways to access it. Through the plus sign over here, which is your chart elements, or add chart elements over here. You can see the plus sign here. So they both have the same thing. So if I click here, you can see chart title, data labels, legends. Let's close that, click it again, up here. Chart title, data labels, legends. So the only thing with this one over here is when you do like the legend, it gives you a none option. Same with the others. Over here, it doesn't. So when you come over here, you want to click this arrow. And data labels and legends. All right, so we want to put, let's see, the data labels on the inside end position. So I'm going to go to data labels here. Click the arrow, and I'm going to go to inside end. So you can see when I mouse through them, you can see the labels showing up. So I'm going to click on inside end, and then hit this plus sign again, and we have our data labels here. Some of them are tough to see there with the bright colors. All right, and then I'm just going to double click on any one of the data labels. So I'm going to double click here, and I think that's the easiest way to do it. I think there's like, you could probably find another way maybe, but I think that's the easiest way. So go to your plus sign, data labels, and put where you want to put them, and then just double click on one of them. So I double click on one of them, and it opens up this. All right, so we want to select the category name and percentage labels. So we want category name and percent. So you can see here, now we got comedy, we have now the value, and then the percent. If you're reading the step, it then says, remove the value, data labels, and legend. So I'm going to click off value here. So we only want category name and percent. The leader lines, that's really nothing. So you can just keep them clicked. And then down here, you can adjust it if you selected the wrong one or if you're doing your own work. I like best fit sometimes because it usually selects what it thinks is the best fit, but I'm going to do inside end, just showing you different things. So you have options here. All right, so I'm going to close this one. And then we're going to do 14 point, let's see, did I miss anything? So remove the value data labels, which we did. Now we only have the category and the percent, and then it said to remove the legend. So I can either click down here on the legend and hit delete, or I can come up to the plus sign and go to the legend. Actually, this way doesn't give you a none option. So you can come over here and go to legend and just click on none. So you can either click on it and hit delete or do it the opposite way. Go to add chart elements and go to none. All right, then we were going to do 14.5 size font, bold, and the black text 1 to the data labels. So click on one of the data labels and you can see they all get selected. So we're going to go to home, bold, .14 font, so up here, and then let's see, 14 bold black text 1. So I'm going to come up here and make sure this is selected. Let's see, data labels. Okay, so we're good. So it should look like this. Oh, it didn't change to 14. All right, so make sure I have the 14 up here. There we go. So we want it to be bold, 14, and the black. So it should look like that. All right. All right. So step 5, we're going to explode out a slice. You want to focus on the comedy movies by exploding it and changing its fill color. So explode the comedy slice by 7% and apply dark red fill color. So there's a few ways you can do that. Let's all right, so we want the comedy slice. So notice when I click on the comedy slice, it's selecting the whole pie chart. So what that means is, see the dot here, and a dot here, and a dot here, and a dot here, 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 and then in the center. So basically it's selecting all the pieces. If I wanted to select just the comedy, so if I click it once, it selects the whole thing. If I double click now on the comedy, now you can see it's only the one slice. So again, what you want to do is click on the pie and you have the whole thing selected, and then double click on comedy. And when you do that, a window should open like this. So again, click in your pie chart and everything's selected. You can see the dots, and then double click in comedy, and then this window, format data point, should open. So we want to explode a slice out. Basically, that's point explosion right here. And what that does is it basically will pull out a slice. So you can sort of bring attention to it. So we're going to, you can either slide this little bar right here or increase it. So we want to do point explosion by 7%. So you can see as I go up, it comes out. You can also move this line like this, or you can click in the slice and drag it to where you want it, or drag it back in, or you can click and drag it out. So you don't necessarily have to do it this way, but for the assignments, if they're asking for a certain percentage, you might just want to do it this way. So I'm going to click down and we're going to go to 7%. Um, this isn't a step, but just to show it to you, the angle of first slice. So basically, angle of first slice will spin your pie chart around. So watch what happens when I increase it. So if you wanted, you know, comedy, more like over here, or if you wanted it more at the top, you could do that. It's sort of interfering with the title. So I'm going to come here. So that's how it works. And then to go back to 0, I could just drag this back. All right. I don't know why the title, let me see, I bolded it before. Make sure we bold it. My computer's doing something weird tonight. So we did bold, we did 18-point font. And then black text 1. Okay, so that was step 3. I don't know why I thought I did that. I don't think I skipped it, but if I did, you want to click on your title, bold 18, and then the black text 1. All right, so we did the explosion. So again, you click on it, you could double click on it, opens that point explosion. So we did the point explosion at 7%, the angle of first slice. I just showed you how it spins it around. All right, let me save my work because my computer is being very weird. All right, so and we wanted to do the dark red fill color. So to go back to that, I'm going to double click in the comedy, and where the format the data point here, you want to click on the fill in line, the bucket right here, and then click on fill, and we're going to change it to a solid fill, or you can change the color down here. Let's see if I do solid, and I select dark red. It's the first one right here, and that's what it looks like. So click on, so let me do that again. So double click on the slice, click on the bucket, solid fill, and then change it to dark red right there. All right, so that finishes that step. I'm going to save my work again. All right, so we are going to, it's best practice to include in alt text for accessibility compliance. So we're going to add that sentence. The pie chart shows percentage by genre for April 2027 and a period after that. So the alt text is used for people with that need certain software to read their items for them on their computer. So to get that, we want to go to format, and we're going to click on alt text over here. So basically, like it says, creates text descriptions of objects for screen readers. So if you have some vision problems, some people might have screen readers so that they know what's on the computer. So I'm going to click on that, and basically we're going to type in that sentence right here. So if it's grayed out like that, just click into your chart and it should let you get into it. So we're going to type the pie chart shows percentage by genre for April 2027 and a period. And basically that's all you do. There's no save. It's marked as decorative. You don't need to do that. Basically this one says decorative objects add visual interest but aren't informative, like different borders. So we don't have that right now, so you don't need to check that. So that's basically it. We can close that. If I open it again, you'll see it's still there. Alright, so we are going to step 7. Next you want to create a combo chart to depict the monthly totals and percentages by category. So we're going to display the datasheet again. Select A5 to A10 and F5 to G10. Then create a clustered column line on secondary access combo chart. So it sounds like a lot, but it's not that bad. So let's go back to here. Let's click on data. We're going to select A5 to A10. And then F5 to G10. So hold control. F5 is here. G10 is down here. So like that. So hold the control key and select it. So A5 to A10, F5 right here to G10. So we're good. Then we're going to go to insert for our charts. Come up here and we want a clustered column line on secondary access combo chart. So over here is our combo chart. So we're going to hit the down arrow, and if I move here it says clustered column line chart. This second one is a clustered column line on secondary access. So that's the one we want, chart. And then the last one is the stacked area clustered column chart. So you can see like this one doesn't even look good because there's no orange showing, and then this one has a flat line for series 2. So this is the best one. So we're going to click on that one, so the second one. And then we're going to step 8, position the chart below the data source, and we want to cut the chart and paste it into A13, and then we're going to change the height. So let's cut and paste it first. So again, you just want to be in your chart. We're going to come to home, come up to the scissors, we're going to hit cut, and then we're going to click in A13 over here, and then we're just going to hit paste on the top up here, paste. So it should look like that. And then we're going to resize it. So we're going to size it to height 3.5 inches and width 6 inches. So we're going to go up to format. And again, you have these 2 tabs when you're in your chart. If I click out of my chart, they go away. Click in my chart, they're there. So format, and over here we have height and width. So our height, we're going to increase to 3.5. You can click in there wherever. And then the width, we're going to change that to 6. So you can see they're working separately, unlike our pictures. If I expand the size and properties area, you can see lock aspect ratio. So that's when we worked with pictures. When we increased one, the other increased. Otherwise, this is separate. You can also resize things by mousing over the circles, the little options to expand. So I could draw my chart out like that. I could do this too, but I probably wouldn't because it distorts it. So I'm going to come up here and just hit undo and undo. So I have the size. Alright, and then basically 9, we're going to change the combo chart title to April 2027 streaming. And then apply black text 1 font color to the chart title. So I'm going to click in chart title, and then I'm just going to start typing. April 2027 streaming. So you can see it's up here. I'm going to hit enter, and it pops in, and then we're going to do black text 1. So I'm going to go to home, come here, and I'm going to select this one. So let's see, did that work? Let's click it again. Okay, it's on. And that's it. So that is step 9. And I'm going to hit save. And we're going to move to the next page of instructions. So we just did 7, 8, 9. Let's do 10. So access titles help you distinguish the numbers and percentages of downloads. So we're going to add a primary value access title and enter that as number of movies. So this is what we're going to type. And then we're going to add a secondary value access title and enter percentage by genres. And then we're going to make them both black, text 1, font color to both of the value access titles. So let's go back to our chart. All right. So titles, remember I mentioned titles, plus sign. So the plus sign, or go to format, chart elements, and add chart elements. So if I went this way, I would go to where it says access titles. So we go to access titles, and we want the first one is a value access title. So it says add a primary value access title. So we're going to do primary value. So first we need to select our values. So value access title. So that's our value access title right here. So chart elements, access titles, we want primary value vertical. So that's right here. So see vertical, it pops up right next to it. So access titles, primary vertical. So verticals here, horizontals down here. So access titles, primary vertical, and now you can see it popped up over here. So we want to call that number of movies. So I'm going to do number of, and capital MOVES, so you can see it up here, and then I'm going to hit enter, and it pops in over here. And then the second part is a secondary value access title, and enter percentage by genre. So this is our secondary over here. So I'm going to come back up to my chart elements and do access titles, and we want secondary, basically secondary vertical right here. Click that, and then we're going to type percentage by genre. So you can see these are the percentages over here. So percentage by GENRE, hit enter, and it should pop in over here. Percentage by genre. And then we're just going to turn both of those value access titles to black text 1. So just remember, if you see numbers, those are values, right? So these are values, these are percentages, these are just numbers. And then down here would be your, if you mouse over them, category access. So you see when I mouse over it, it says horizontal category access. So you know that's horizontal. This one over here, vertical value access, and then this one is a secondary vertical value access. And then different parts of your chart, if I mouse over here, this is your chart area, and then this would be your legend, and then if you put your mouse between these lines, this is your plot area. So if it tells you to do something in one of those areas or you can't find it, just mouse over it and it'll help guide you. We'll do more with that coming up. So let's see, we're going to click in percentage by genres, and we're going to go to home, and we're going to change this to theme color black text 1. And then I'm going to come over here and click on this one and come up to the font and click on black text 1. So you can see it's a little bit darker than the numbers. Alright, so that's step 10. Step 11, again, we added the access titles to each vertical access. We're going to remove the legend and format the secondary value access to display whole percentages. So we're going to remove the legend for the combo chart, and display 0 decimal places for the secondary value access. So basically, we can click in the legend, hit delete, or again, you can come up to chart design, chart elements, and go to legend down here, and then click none if you want. So we did that. And then we want to display 0 decimal places for the secondary value access. So here's our secondary value access. So right now you can see the decimal is 1 decimal place, 0.0 for all of them. So if I double click on one of these numbers, it opens up a window. And then we want to come down here to number and click on that. And then scroll up a little, and where it says decimal places, we want to change that to 0. So I'm going to click in here, put a 0, and then you have to hit enter. So hit enter, and now you can see it changed, and it's only whole numbers. Alright, so I'm going to click out of that. So again, just double click in any of these numbers, click on number to expand that category, just scroll down, and where it says decimal places, put 0 and hit enter. Alright, so let's see, 12, we want to add some color to the plot area for the combo chart. So it says apply light gradient accent to gradient fill color to the plot area. So we're going to find the plot area. So when I come in between the lines here, see up here's the chart area. When I come in between the lines, this is our plot area. So I'm going to double click in there, and format plot area opens up, and I'm going to go to gradient fill. So we want gradient, and we want the apply a light gradient accent to gradient fill for the plot area. So we want to go to the preset gradients because they're telling us something specific. The light gradient accent 2. So I'm going to come here, and if I mouse over the first colors, you have light gradient accent 1, light gradient accent 2, so on and so forth. So we want light gradient accent 2, so it's this one. So I'm going to click on it, and it looks like that. Looks good. I'm going to close this, and basically the next step is we're going to do alt text for this chart. So remember, we went to format and alt text, and I'm just going to click in here, and then I can click in and type. So we're going to type the combo chart shows the number and percentage of movies streams, period. So the combo chart shows the number and percentage of movies streamed, period. So it's showing by the genre here. It's showing the number of movies and the percentage streams by genre. So I probably would have put that in my description, but that's not what they're asking, so I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to close this, and if I opened it again, it's still there. Alright, so let's see, on to our next step. 14. To provide a visual summary of the weekly totals for each genre, we're going to insert sparklines. So we're going to select the range B5 to E11. We're going to insert the sparklines in the range H5 to H11, and then we're going to do orange sparkline style accent 2. So sparklines are like little charts in the cell. So we're going to go to B5 to E11, So let's see, B5 to E11 is basically to here. So B5 to E11 is all that. All right. And then we're going to go up to Insert, and over there we got our spark lines, line, column, and win-loss. So win-loss is good when you have negative numbers. Let's do line spark lines. So I'm going to click that. So basically you can choose this before or after. So we chose the range right here. So this is what, choose the data you want. So the data range B5 to E11. So we selected that. And then where is the location? So it basically said insert the line spark lines in the range H5 to H11. So when we clicked in here, we're going to go H5 from here to H11 like that. All right, so that's basically it. We start off where we want the data from, B5 colon E11, and then where do we want to put it? It's H5 to H11, and then it switches it to make it absolute. $H, $5, colon, $H, $11. So I'm going to say OK. And these are our spark lines. So when you're in your spark lines, you have a spark line tab up here. When I click out of it, it goes away. All right, so we're going to stay clicked in it. We're going to click on the spark line up here. And you can see you can easily switch up. So if I want to switch it, I can switch it. So if I click column, you can see those are columns. If I click back to line, it's back to line. Then we have show. You can show your high point, low point, negative points. So the high point is the highest number, low point's the lowest number. So high point would be up here, lowest point would be here. So you can see if I click on it, high point shows little dots, low point shows little dots, negative, we don't have any negative. First point, it's just your first point, last point, and then the markers puts a dot for each of the weeks that we're showing. So since our data was from B5 to E11, B5 to E11, we're going to have 4 data points. So if I click on markers, you're going to see the 4 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So I'm going to click off of that. And then you have different styles and colors you can select. And then you have sparkling colors and your marker colors. So if you want to switch up any of the marker, the high point, the low point, the markers, you can switch it to whatever colors you want. And then the access, sometimes they'll ask you to use the access. So change the scaling and visibility of each sparkline access for the selected sparkline group. So if it tells you, because sometimes for the homework, it will say, click the down arrow, for the vertical axis minimum value options and for the vertical axis maximum value options to click on or select same for all sparklines. So if you ever see that, just come into access here and click on same for all sparklines for the vertical axis minimum values group and same for all sparklines for the maximum values group. But it's not asking us that for this assignment. So we inserted that, and then we're going to do apply the orange sparkline style accent 2. So I'm going to come up here and hit expand. So if I, let's see, this is brown, so it says orange. So if I come down here, this one says orange sparkline style accent 2, no dark or light. So I think that's the one we want. Yep, that's the one we want. So I'm going to click. And you can see now they changed to orange. And then the next step is basically displaying the markers helps identify specific points in the spark lines. You'll also change the high point to a different color. So we're going to show the high point and the markers for this spark line. So again, you would come up here. We're going to click on high point and the markers. So basically when I do the markers, if it's the same color as the high point, you're not going to see a difference. So that's why we're going to change the marker. So click markers, high point, and then we're going to basically change the high point marker to black text 1. So we're going to come over here to marker color, and we're going to do high point marker color. So we're going to go to high point, and we're going to change it to this black right here. So right now it's this. So I'm going to change it, click on this, black text 1. So now you can see the highest point is now a black dot. So black, black, pure black. So those are your spark lines. So again, unless you have negative numbers, you want to do the line or the column pretty much. You can edit your data here. You have different options, different styles, and then you can switch up colors, and then the axis is used for different scaling options. So usually they'll tell you to do same for all spark lines for the vertical axis minimum and the vertical axis maximum value options. So we're not doing that now, but that's what they ask. So we are on step 16. So our last task is to create a bar chart for the weekly downloads. We're going to select A4 to E10 and create a stacked bar chart. We're going to move the new chart to a new sheet. We're going to call the new enter weekly data for the new sheet, and then apply style 8 chart style. So let's go back to our data here, and we want to select A4 to E10. So A4 is here, E10 is down here. So A4 basically to E10 like that. So we're going to select that and go up to insert, and we're going to look for stacked bar chart. So we're going to come up here to the bar, insert column of bar chart. I'm going to click the down arrow. These first two are column. We're going to come down to bar. This one is a clustered bar, and this one is a stacked bar, and this is 100% stacked. So we want this one right here. Stacked bar chart. So I'm going to click on that. Now we have our stacked bar chart, and then I'm going to go to move chart. So chart design, move chart, new sheet, and we're going to call that sheet, move the sheet to a new chart sheet, and then enter weekly data for the name. So weekly data, we're going to say okay. And so now you can see we got weekly data here. And then we're going to apply the style 8 chart style. So up here under chart design, you have chart styles. You also have change colors. So if you go to your little brush over here, that's also your chart styles. So if I click on this, these are the same as these. And then over here to color, these are the same as these. So you have like two options. So if we go to style, we want, I think it said 8. Style 8 chart style. So they're usually in numeric order. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think it's this one. So this says style 8. This is 9. So yeah, we want this one. Click on it and then hit the paintbrush and it goes off. Alright, and then you can see up here, this is like grayed out. So we finished 16. Now we're going to add a chart title above the bar chart, and we're going to name it April 2027 weekly streaming. So click into chart title. We're going to do April 2027 weekly streaming and hit enter, and it should pop in there. And then we're going to step 18, increase the font size will make the chart elements easier to read. So apply 11-point font size to the category axis, value axis, and legend. So our category axis, these look like categories, right? So if I mouse over them, vertical category. So that's our category axis. A value, think of values as numbers. This is horizontal value axis. And then our legend. So this is our legend down here. So we want to do 11-point font size to each of those. So I'm going to start off with our category. So if I click in one of these and go to home, I'm going to change the 9 to an 11. So I got a little bit bigger. I'm going to do the same thing for the value axis. So I'm going to click down here at the numbers. They got all selected. So I'm going to come up to the 9 and change it to an 11. So they got a little bit bigger. And then we're going to go to the legend, which is week 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to click in there. And we're basically going to change that to 11-point font as well. So I'm click here, go to 11, and that makes that bigger. So it should look like this. So we have our categories at the font size 11, our values, font size 11, and our legend, font size 11. Alright, so let's go on to, let's see, 19. Because the largest value is less than 9,000, you can reduce the maximum bound in the chart. In addition, you want to display the category labels in the same order that they are in the worksheet. So we're going to change the maximum bounds for the value axis to 9,000, and then we're going to set the major units to 500 for the bar chart, and then we're going to use the axis options to format the category axis so that the category labels are in the reverse order in the bar chart. So all right, let's do the first part. Maximum bounds. So they're talking about value labels, right? So if I come here and see how action and adventure only goes to like 8,700, it doesn't reach 9,000 yet, and there's nothing in here. So these are your bounds. So the bound is 10,000. It goes from 0 to 10,000, and they're going by 1,000. So 1,000, 2,000. There's a gap of 1,000 in between. So what you want to do is double click on one of these values. So if I double click on 9,000, it opens up this window. So you got your bounds and your units and your display units. So if they say to change any of those, you would do that. So our bounds, the maximum is 10,000 right now. The minimum is 0. So 0, 10,000. So we want to change it to change the maximum bounds for the value axis to 9,000. So bounds maximum, we're going to put 9,000 in there and then hit enter, and you can see you now have a reset button, but now more importantly it expanded it to 9,000 and just expanded everything a little bit bigger. And then the second part, let's see, set the major units to 500. So here you have units, major, so right now it's showing every 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So I'm going to change this 1,000 to a 500, hit enter. You see you got to reset again, and now it's 0, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. So that's what it changes. And then the last part basically said to use the access options to format the category access so that the category labels are in the reverse order, in the bar chart. So notice in our bar chart, these are our categories, right? I'm going to close this window. Alright, here's our categories. It goes from other genres, sci-fi, horror, drama, but if I go back to the data, it goes action, adventure, comedy, drama, horror. So they're basically backward. They're listing from this way down versus this way. So that's why we want to reverse them in reverse order. So we're going to double click in one of these. So I can double click in comedy. And over here in the format access window, down here, categories in reverse order. So that's what we want. I'm going to click here. And you can see it just reversed them. And that's it. So basically just double click on one of these, come into the format access and click on categories in reverse order. Alright, and I'll close this. And let's see. Alright, we did all that. So now, although the bar chart displays major grid lines, minor grid lines, could use improvement in the appearance. So we're going to add primary, minor, vertical grid lines to the bar chart. So let's go back to our chart. So these are grid lines, these white lines. So if I come up here to the plus sign, you have grid lines, right? And then just hit the arrow, and you can see the primary, major are showing, but we want to add primary, minor vertical grid lines. So primary, minor vertical right here, I'm going to click that, and you can see when you mouse over them, it's showing what they are. So we want primary, minor, vertical. So I'm going to click that, and then I'll hit the plus sign again, or if you did it this way, grid lines, and you can see the two that are selected. Alright, so let's see, we'll go to the next page. The last thing we have left is the best practice to include alt text for accessibility compliance. So we're going to add right here, the stacked bar chart shows genre streaming by week, include the period, and then we're going to save it and upload it. So let me go back to my chart. So we're going to go to format and click on alt text, and then just, you can, if you can't access it, just click in the chart area, and then you should be able to come in here and click, and then we're going to type the stacked bar chart. Shows genre streaming by week and include the period. So the stacked bar chart shows genre streaming by week. So these are the genres. The colors represent the weeks. And then here is the numbers. So I'm going to close this. Remember to save your work. We have, let's see, it doesn't say to rearrange them, but we have April pie chart, weekly data, and then our data. And remember, if you needed to rename one of these, you could right click, rename it, move or copy it. You can give it a tab color. You can also just click and drag them if you need to. So if you click it, you get this little sheet. You can drag it and move it, but we're going to keep everything in this order. Alright, and remember to do the header footer. You would go insert, header footer if you need to do one. We'll do more in chapter 4, and I think that's everything for now. So the data labels, just to show you too, we have data labels on our pie chart here. Did it change? Let me see. Let me go back. I don't know why I kept changing my pie chart. We wanted data labels, inside position, category name, and percentage labels. Okay, it's good. We're good to go. All right, so the only other thing I want to show you is if we needed data labels on this, I could go to my plus sign and data labels, and then you can see you can do them center, inside ends, inside base, call out. That's if they were asking us to do it. If they said to just put data labels on one of these, like week 4, green is week 3, orange is week 2, this other blue is week 1. So say they said to put just labels on week 4. So I can click on week 4, like click on any blue one here, and you can see it selects them all. And then I can either go to the data labels again, or I could right click in one of them and add data labels, and it adds them. Or if I go to here, data labels, then you could adjust where you want to put them. And if I click off data labels, they go away. So just want to show you, if you just needed one set, you could do that. If you wanted all of them, you wouldn't select anything. So I hope this video helped. Again, this is Excel chapter 3, and it's all about charts. So save your work, go back to Blackboard, and upload your file here. All right. Hope this helps. Take care. Bye.